I'm Amy Stevens with the Edmond Historical Society and Museum, and today I'm going to show you a recipe for quick cinnamon apples. It's part of a celebration we're doing for an exhibit at the museum called What's Cooking Edmond. And today we are in the Project 66 Food Kitchen. This is the resource center here in Edmond, and we're excited to be able to bring you a recipe that's very easy to make with simple ingredients that you probably have in your own home. And it's also a beautiful dish that is not only just a side menu, but it's also a delicious dessert as well. Okay, so we're going to start off with something very basic. We're going to turn the skillet on to medium-low, get a little pat of butter going. Sometimes I even use some coconut oil because I have someone in my life that is dairy-free, or you can do both. It just adds a little bit of extra flavor. And for this, I approximately use about 1 apple per person, and the kind of apple is up to you. Usually the tart ones are pretty good, the Granny Smiths, the Honey Crisp, but really you can use any kind, and you can even mix them as well. So I've already pre-cut these into pretty small pieces just because it cooks a little quicker and easier. And truly, you're going to be amazed that this whole thing takes just a couple of minutes to get ready. So a lot of times I will go ahead and get this started while I'm waiting on the spaghetti sauce to cook, and then just let it sit here and simmer for a little bit. Okay, the other ingredients that I have can be added in, truly are up to you. The cinnamon's pretty important. I usually just sprinkle it on. I have some measurements up here, but really this is a very forgiving recipe and you just almost can't go wrong. So a sprinkle of cinnamon, I think I have tablespoon on here, but I think teaspoon is probably more accurate. And then some of my other favorites are to add in some fruits, and some coconut flakes are wonderful. I like mine a little finer, so that's what I use, but you can use any kind of coconut flakes. Just mix them in. If you like a lot of fruit, you can use raisins or cranberries, so I'm just going to throw in both. And this is just an approximate measurement, but if you've got these little things around your house, that's about the exact size that you need. Also, we're going to put in a little pinch of salt. Not much. And my favorite ingredient are the chopped dates. They're a little hard to find at the store, but they really add some sweetness to it. Just stir it up, go back to whatever else you're cooking, and then come back and check on this in another minute or two. And then if you like nuts, some walnuts or pecans thrown in there are also a nice touch. Now, the final ingredient is also something that you have a lot of choice on, and that is what adds a little bit of moisture and a little bit of sweetness, and that is that you need some syrup. You can use maple syrup, you can use just good old-fashioned pancake syrup, or honey, and that's what I like to do. So I just put a little dab of honey in here, and then just let it cook for a couple of minutes, and it's going to make your kitchen smell so good. And let's say you have a little bit more cooking to do. Once it gets to about the texture that you like, whether you like it really crisp or really mushy, then you just turn it on low and let it sit there for a little while. And you can even just let it sit and warm while you're eating dinner and serve it for dessert. Now, I have to tell you, the reason I started making this recipe and realized how easy it was is because I was trying to make the really fancy version, which was the apples that you bake. So I brought some of those just to show you where I came from, and that is where you take an apple and you cut it in half and you make the same mixture, just mix it up in a bowl and put it in here and bake this at 350 for about 30 minutes. Well, that took a little bit of time. It's a little bit time consuming, although a couple of tricks is I learned that if you use like a little strawberry holder and do that, that's probably the quickest way to scoop out the middle of the apple. So it takes a lot more time and more work, and this tastes exactly the same. So at this point, our recipe is done, and it smells really good and it's delicious. We can put it in a beautiful cup, or you can just lay it on the plate with everything else that you're eating for the meal. I will tell you that last night when I was practicing this recipe, I had made some sweet cornbread to go with some beans and ham. And I put them on the plate, the apples and the cornbread, and together was delightful. It was almost like eating a an apple spice cake or something by mixing those together. So that was a little thing that I learned last night that I thought was wonderful. But I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit more about how to make such a quick recipe that we were able to do in just a few minutes out of very simple ingredients. And it's a very forgiving, easy recipe. Please come visit us at the museum and see our What's Cooking Edmond exhibit. And we are also doing other videos that feature cooking, as well as people who have cooking collections of like kitchen gadgets and dishes and salt and pepper shakers here in Edmond. We want to celebrate this great community and the resources that it has to offer. Thank you.